Good day everyone, so in today's video we'll review the Iridescent Arataki Rocking for Life event, which is the main event for 4.6, taking place in Inazuma. As is tradition on the channel, we always review these events just when they're passed or on the last day of the event. So let's talk about this, because this is a very important event for me as a Kokomi main, because, well, I got some Kokomi lore, but we also got confirmation of the interpretation of what happened during the Inazuma War. Basically, I put out a video prior to this event running, for those of you that saw it, where I argued that no, Kokomi's writing was not ruined. I disagreed with Chill with Esther and Otsukuri, and I even argued that their interpretation of some of the basic facts that are presented to you are wrong. And effectively, what this event highlighted was that that interpretation I had was the correct one. So basically, Otsukuri said, what was Kokomi's endgame? Why wage a pointless war against the Raiden Shogun? And yet, in this event, we also now had confirmation that Raiden said the people must not be made to suffer so much again. Even Kokomi pointed out it's unusual for a war to rage on for a year and the Raiden Shogun doing nothing. Basically, the TLDR is that the Tenryou Commission, influenced by the Fatui, fed false information to the Raiden Shogun puppets, which in turn obviously allowed this to continue, whereas if A herself had been more aware of what was actually happening, then it most likely would have led her to come out, one-tap the Fatui, and probably put an end to this entire war. And also it's the fact that A went to Watatsumi Island. I mean, if she really had a bone to pick with Kokomi, there would have been a very good time, but as is hinted in the 3.7 festival, it's most likely that some of the government talks probably was held in the background between at least some high-ranking officials in the Tenryou Commission, Yashiro, or with Yai. Or at least at some point, Raiden and Kokomi are seeing eye to eye. Regardless, sorry, I get really passionate about this because I mean it's Inazuma, it's Kokomi, it's the lore I love. We also learned that basically, as I predicted in my lore analysis on Kokomi, that if Kokomi had to stand in front of the Raiden Shogun, then the Yashiro Commission would most likely back her up because they've got a very strong political interest in ending the war as well. We saw that Ayato helped the resistance. We saw that the Yashiro Commission kind of helped the Traveler go to the resistance during the beginning of the war. In other words, they wouldn't make that move if they didn't already have some sort of contacts there. And we also learned that they worked together with the Sangonomiya clan to launch the Puppy Union effort, which effectively helped rescue soldiers. So the lore drops that we got and how we understood Kokomi masterfully navigating the war to even have like a bargaining chip to say to the Raiden Shogun, if it ever came to it, hey, I rescued your soldiers, tried to minimize casualties. All of that was, I think, a brilliant expansion upon the existing Inazuma War. These are the types of things that I would have loved to have come out way back when, especially like when Goro was released. I mean, the whole Puppy Union thing perfectly fits his character. But regardless, I mean, the lore drops that we got were fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So my only big complaint is basically this. I wish we had more. I wish we had more screen time for Kokomi, more screen time for Raiden, getting a bit more of an idea of what this actual war is that she's talking about that's going to come in the future. Even something if Raiden said, hey, you know, I like this Kokomi girl. Last time we met or spoke or whatever, I think I want to make her my general or advisor. I mean, that it would be such a great way to forward the plot in Inazuma, but let's leave it up to the ancient writers. If that happens, I think then the entire story and Inazuma can get a good closure, and then obviously the next arc that would fit it really well, which would be a war arc, which is what the Raiden hinted at. With regards to the festival itself, it was pretty boring. I think the musical notes were kind of irritating because all of these songs basically portrayed some of the newer Inna's Fontaine songs, which annoyed me. Someone said, yeah, but they made the beat maps for the old characters and songs available. It's kind of pointless because most people only want the Primo Gems. So unless you're a die-hard fan of this type of event or rhythm game, you basically are just going to look at the Fontaine characters and their songs, play it, see what your friend's up to. Your friend's going to make an impossible beat map, and you're going to give up and just then go on with your life. I think that is pretty much the sentiment that I got from reading a lot of comments and so on, and also from personally playing it. The funny part was obviously for me the character character interactions. I think that was the highlight of the event. I loved seeing Goro being completely clueless as to who Miss Hina is, and Kokomi immediately reducing it and kind of like, also getting a bit in on the joke and pulling Goro's leg was pretty fun. Some of the other character interactions like Paimon and Arataki Ito was cool. We got some, Shikanin Heizo and Kuki Shinobu and some other Fontaine Inazuma characters. So overall, it was really good to build a bit of like morale and spirit for the Inazuma cast. I just wish there was more, but overall, I think it was a decent event. I think the boring part of it was in the gameplay, where in order for you to unlock the final event, you had to now go to Leeway and to Mondstadt, and you had to listen to everyone and kind of fix their melodies. I thought that gameplay was really boring and dry. Don't know what the developers thought about that. I think if they added in a little bit of a combat event and reduced that other event or that other bit of gameplay, then it would have just been a lot smoother, because it did feel like a bit of a chore at some point. But yeah, that is my opinion on the event. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, as a Kokomi main, love the lore drops. I mean, that's what we live for. Okay, cheers.